Andrew Wiggins, one of the big hopes of Canadian basketball, okay? If it wasn't for Anthony Bennett's weird selection by the Cleveland Cavaliers a year prior, would have been the first ever Canadian to be picked first overall in the NBA draft, okay? Somebody whose skills had been touted for years, a la LeBron James, okay? He had everything going for him, played a year at Kentucky, okay? You know, it just was dominant there, and then just, landed with the Timberwolves after a trade and all that kind of goofy stuff, okay? Would have been with the Cavs, funnily enough, but then ended up with the Timberwolves regardless, okay? And his career never quite lived up to the expectations, okay? But being the third, fourth wheel for the Golden State Warriors, probably a great place for him, okay? Is he ever going to be that superstar? He might have a late career resurgence, okay? But more than likely not. Nah, he's not going to live up to expectations or anything like that, really, if we're being completely honest. And it's kind of weird how big, high-profile Canadian basketball players kind of really dropped off after Andrew Wiggins didn't really live up to everything. But regardless, okay, he was one of like 4 higher profile NBA talents that decided that, you know what, I'm going to have a think on whether or not I want to get the jab in order to just participate in all this nonsense. We talked about a couple of other ones. Kyrie Irving was pretty much at the forefront of this stuff, and he stood his ground on that one. Bradley Beal was another one, and I'm pretty sure he didn't cave on that one as well. And then Jonathan Isaacs of the Orlando Magic as well. He's been a big proponent of standing his ground. But Andrew Wiggins, like all good Canadians, just kind of bent over and took it so that he could participate in the season. And now, after the team won the championship and everybody's just kind of like, well, we can try to make COVID a thing again, but it's not really fucking working out there. But now he's saying that, yeah, he regrets getting the vaccine. Oh, maybe he's seen my previous video from Monday. But anyways, Golden State Warriors forward and NBA champion Andrew Wiggins suggested he regrets getting the jab during the 2021-2022 season, even though he won a championship. I still wish I didn't get the vaccine, to be honest with you. Wiggins, 27, told Fansided this week. Yeah, no, exactly. Should have stood your ground and not compromised on your principles. Imagine that. Wiggins said that the only way he would be able to play last season is if he got the shot due to San Francisco's COVID-19 rules around vaccines. Throughout the season, he refused to get the shot and claimed a religious exemption before he was ultimately denied and received the vaccine in October in order to play. I did it, he said, referring to getting the shot, and I was an all-star this year and a champion. So that was the good part. It's just, hey man, taking a look at a lot of other athletic young men around my same age, speaking as Wiggins, 27, well, even at my age at 32, of just all of these seemingly healthy individuals just out for a run. Fuck, I'll pull up this other story because that one immediately came to mind. Yeah, taking a look at this story right here. Well-known Toronto emergency physician, Dr. Paul Hannam, has died. Well, how did he die? This was in Toronto, after all. It's not as bad as some of the cities in the United States or anything. He didn't get carjacked or anything like that. No, it's just a weird situation that we have here. A well-known leader in Canadian emergency medicine has died. Dr. Paul Hannam, who is the chief of emergency medicine and the program medical director at North York General Hospital, has died suddenly on Saturday. Oh no, what happened? Hannam reportedly collapsed while out running. Friend and fellow emergency physician, Dr. Howard Ovens, said in a tweet. Okay, a little look behind the scenes. Okay, my microphone got muted, so I'm having to run this back, okay? But the fact is, okay, Dr. Howard Ovens is Jewish. That's a little unfortunate. Anyways, Olympic sailor, marathon runner, family man, emergency director. Oh, ED, sorry. Well, shouldn't he have been an EM director? Anyways, at NYGH, a sweet, thoughtful, compassionate, and gentle man, died suddenly today on a run. A quintessential mensch. Hug someone you love. Again, no, man. If he lost a friend in that one, that's real tough shit. But it's just weird, huh? It's heavy that our hearts. We remember a friend and dear colleague. And, yeah, how did he die? Yeah, he just collapsed out for a run. A guy who was, a one-time Olympic sailor, okay, a marathon runner, yeah, just mysteriously died seemingly out of the fucking blue. Who could have possibly seen that happen? No, of course not. No, wonderful, fantastic. But yeah, as for Wiggins, yeah, just being like, yeah, I kind of capitulated, I kind of bent over, and I compromised all my principles, okay, which you should never, ever fucking do, okay? You should stand tall on your principles. Okay, you've made your millions of dollars already, okay? It's all fine and dandy. You'd be able to transition into something else, or you could be like Kyrie Irving, who we'll touch on here in a moment, who could, I don't know, stand for something, okay? Because they realized, okay, this is the NBA and this is really society and any kind of sports observer at large, okay? They realized that, you're going to capitulate. So, you know what, hey, it just depends, okay? If we just put enough pressure on you, you're going to back down, okay? So what the fuck? It doesn't really much matter, okay, what you say right now. We just know that we need to continue to needle you enough, and you'll eventually, okay, pun not intended, you'll just give in, okay? Never give these motherfuckers an inch, okay? Because they will take everything from you, guaranteed. Anyways, yeah, back to what Wiggins said here. I still wish I didn't get vaccinated, to be honest with you. He said to Fansided earlier this week, Wiggins said that the only way he would be able to play last season is if he got the shot due to San Francisco, because that's where the Golden State Warriors now play out of. And even still, you would have several other conference rivals like Sacramento, okay, both LA teams, Lakers and the Clippers, okay, and a bunch of other goofy Western Conference teams, okay, Portland, okay, still had fucking retarded mandates as well, and all of that shit. So he wouldn't be able to play home games or any of those other games as well, okay, being in the West, okay, and then even out in the East as well, when you had guys like Kyrie Irving not being able to play any of the home games, okay, specifically in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center, or even going over to your division rivals, okay, the Knicks, okay, you know, for various reasons as well, and then even hopping the border, which is still the fucking case, and you see multiple MLB players being like, nah, get fucked. Real Muto, the catcher for the Phillies, JL, whatever, man, he's the top catcher in baseball right now, and he's like, I ain't letting Canada can't tell me what the fuck to do. I want to see that spirit kept up everywhere. Okay, Kansas City Royals just came up and played a set against the Blue Jays, and they were out 10 players, okay, 10 fucking players, and they still skunked him the first game, okay, which is terrific, wonderful. I'm not even a Kansas City fan, okay, I've never liked that fucking team. George Brett is a total pimp, but he was a one-off. Stand for something or fall for anything, simple as. Brooklyn Nets guard Kyrie Irving, because he didn't take the vaccine, was denied the ability to play for his team during home games throughout much of the season. Several months ago, New York City Mayor Eric Adams, who doesn't really care about anybody else except for himself and whatever he can do in order to enrich the elites of New York City, he'll do that, okay? He doesn't care about the plebs that are out there, okay? And it's like, oh no, there's violent crime, but yeah, security's pretty tight at the Met Gala, and that's really all I care about, so good for him. Rolled back the city's vaccination requirements for athletes, performers, the rich and famous, okay? It's a two-tiered system in New York City, and if you're still there, I don't know why the fuck you are, but it's a very bifurcated society, okay? Once the Hunger Games kick off, it'll start in New York City proper. Fucking count me down for that prediction, okay? But while Kyrie Irving didn't give a fucking inch, okay? It was him and a couple of other people, okay, that stood firm on this assertion. Andrew Wiggins, just going back to what the rest of the stuff that he said, okay, so I did it, referring to getting the jab, and I was an all-star this year and a champion, so that was the good part, you know, just, you know, the lingering effects of the stuff, which we're never really going to find out, and that's why the FDA wants 75 years to disseminate all their papers, but apparently they lost the case, and, you know, I still haven't seen any of those reports come out, but regardless, so that was the good part, just not missing out on the year, the best year of my career. Yeah, no, exactly, and if you would have stayed firm, it was really tough to really know how everything would have played out, but regardless, but for my body, I just don't like putting all that stuff in my body. So I didn't like that. It was my choice. I didn't like that I was either going to get this or you don't play. Wiggins previously said that he's the only member of his family to receive the jab, saying that it's not really something we believe in. Yeah, no, exactly. He just kind of weighed up his own personal statistics, you know, being an athletic guy, a professional fucking athlete, being 27 fucking years old, having a clean bill of health as far as everybody knows, and then taking a look at it, it's like, okay, side effects of the jab as opposed to the actual virus itself. What, on a balance of probabilities, looking at the statistics that are out there, what would actually be worse off for me if I was to even catch this at this point? Okay, if he was catching the Omicron when that was running around out there, because what was the most severe symptom of that one? Wasn't it like kind of a runny nose or some shit like that, scratchy throat? And it's like, oh yeah, exactly. Or here, take this, and hey, don't mind the fact that sudden adult death syndrome, that's just a thing now. What the fuck? Anyways, so this is what Kyrie Irving had to say in his interview to ESPN. Somebody who has a backbone, somebody who I wouldn't agree with on just about anything except for this point. And for that, hey man, he's got fucking a little bit of an elevated perception in my eyes, at least on this issue. Okay, I can really say that I stood firm on what I believed in, what I wanted to do with my body. Irving told ESPN, I think it should not be just an American right. I think it should be a human right. Yes, several other better governed countries around the world, not in the West, okay? The West is fucking lost for a multitude of reasons. This one is at the forefront, okay? Forcing people to do things against their own will. Unless, of course, it's an abortion, then that's a human right. Big think when it comes to this stuff, okay? Irving added, I was called so many different names. I could think of one that you were probably called, but again, that's just the left lashing out because they're the party of acceptance and tolerance. It was part of my part of a struggle of mine that I took this season. A game that I love, my job. I can't even keep calling it a game. It's my job. For that to be stripped away based on a mandate or something else that is in place. Yeah, no, exactly. And then Jonathan Isaacs, the real one, okay? The top G when it comes to the NBA, okay? He was the guy when everybody was in the bubble, because that's when that picture was taken. And by the bubble, that was when the NBA played out the rest of the 2020 season at Disney World, I think. Yeah, no, exactly. Oh, Ron DeSantis is so bad for his Don't Say Gay bill, but you know what? Hey, thanks for giving us a venue to finish out our fucking sports ball season. Yeah, no, exactly. Don't reconcile those two thoughts together. But regardless, Jonathan Isaacs, when the rest of the NBA was putting on all of their fucking Black Lives Matter merchandise, enriching a bunch of lesbians out there in Southern California, okay, making sure that they had multiple mansions, meanwhile paying lip service to Black Lives Matter, and I don't feel comfortable being a black multi-millionaire with a whole bunch of armed security buying a Tesla, because then I'll be pulled over and killed by the cops. Remember that story? Oh boy. Anyways, but no, Jonathan Isaacs, he was, I think, like the only fucking player in the NBA, okay, not to put on the shirt, not to take the knee, to be a total fucking Chad, or Tyrone in his case, and stand up for what he fucking believes in. Literally. Orlando Magic's Jonathan Isaacs, meanwhile, similarly declined the jab, remarking it felt forced. Well, it was, so very good perception abilities. His perspicacity is on point. Viewing it, it seems forced, Isaac said during an interview. It seemed that there was so much pressure in doing it. I don't want to see the wisdom in putting something into my body. That's not going to stop me from getting the virus or transmitting it. That's why I decided to be the only player on my team to not get vaccinated. And you know what? There's probably a lot of other people on the team. I'm just going to go ahead and throw this out there because you see a lot of these behind the scenes things, okay? You always hear your favorite YouTuber talk about getting DMs from people. Oh, I'm really down with your message, but I just can't come out front and say it. I'm sure that there was a bunch of people on that team as well who didn't want to take a knee, who didn't want to put on the t-shirt, who didn't want to take the jab, but they were too fucking cowardly in order to be like Jonathan Isaacs, in order to be like Kyrie Irving, to stand for something, otherwise fucking fall for anything. Sure, you were an all-star this year. Sure, you were an NBA champion. Okay, you got to accomplish that dream that you had ever since you were a little boy when you first picked up a basketball. Okay, congratulations. But what did that come at? Okay, did it come at something that you're gonna look at that championship ring and be like, yeah, man, I got it, but at what cost? But at what cost? You sacrificed what makes you a man. Sure, you have a nice piece of jewelry at the end of the day, and it's a perfect encapsulation because you compromised on your principles. You got a nice little ring. You know what that makes you? A fucking bitch. So, with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.